Have you ever wondered what's actually going on inside your cat's head when they stare at you? Maybe you see yourself as their master, or perhaps a loving parent. But what if I told you that you've been completely wrong this whole time? Get ready, because today we're going to challenge everything you thought you knew about your pets. In this video, we're revealing the shocking truth about who you really are to your furry roommate. I promise, after watching this, you'll never look at your cat the same way again. You're about to discover the hidden motives behind their strangest behaviours. Let's kick things off with a provocative fact. Your cat is absolutely convinced that you aren't even human. Sounds absurd, right? But science says otherwise. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments, who do you think your pet thinks you are? A master? A servant? Or something else entirely? Now let's start our investigation. To solve this mystery, we need to take a quick trip back in time. The bond between humans and cats goes back about 10,000 years, but their domestication was nothing like that of dogs. We specifically bred dogs for certain tasks, intentionally shaping their appearance and their psychology. Cats, on the other hand, essentially domesticated themselves. They simply showed up at ancient grain stores to hunt mice. Humans found this mutually beneficial, so they let these furry hunters stick around. Because of this, cats have barely changed since the days of their wild ancestors. They've kept their independence, their wild instincts, and their unique way of communicating. For years, animal behaviourists focused almost entirely on dogs, leaving cats in the shadows. It's only in recent decades that researchers, like biologist John Bradshaw, have begun to truly study the feline mind. And it's their discoveries that have finally helped us crack the mysterious feline code. Let's start with a mind-blowing discovery that changes everything we know about our pets. Renowned biologist and animal behaviour expert John Bradshaw has spent years studying the feline mind, and his conclusion is staggering. Your cat has no idea that you belong to a different species. That's right. To your cat, you aren't some highly intelligent human. You're just a giant, slightly clumsy, but totally harmless cat. Just picture that for a second. While you're walking through the house, preoccupied with your human problems, that furry little critic on the sofa sees you as nothing more than a massive, weird-looking relative. This fact completely changes how we view our relationship with them. Dogs, for example, clearly distinguish between humans and other dogs. They change their behaviour depending on who they're interacting with. But cats don't do that. They use the exact same signals and body language with us as they do with their fellow felines. They simply don't make exceptions for our human nature. When your pet rubs against your legs, they're treating you exactly like they would another cat. It's a simple realization, but it opens a whole new door into understanding their mysterious world. Let's break down one of the most iconic examples of cat behavior. Think about how your pet greets you when you get home from work. They run to meet you with their tail held high, like an antenna, often with the very tip twitching slightly. Many people assume they're just acting like dogs, wagging their tails out of excitement. No, it's time to debunk that myth. In the feline world, a raised tail carries a very specific meaning. It's a classic greeting that kittens use for their mothers and adult cats reserve for their closest friends. By lifting their tail, your cat is signalling that they come in peace and fully trust you. It's their way of saying, "Hey, big cat, I'm happy to see you. Let's be friends." In the wild, cats only do this with their immediate family. So, when your furry roommate gives you this kind of welcome at the door, it's the ultimate sign of respect. They've officially invited you into their inner circle. To them, you're not just the person who puts food in the bowl. You're a valued, full-fledged member of their pack, and that kind of trust is truly special. Think about that quirky little habit your cat has, climbing onto your lap and rhythmically kneading you with their paws. Most people call this making biscuits. Whether it's on your stomach, your chest, or even a soft blanket nearby, they settle in, purr loudly, and look completely at peace. Sound familiar? A lot of people assume they're just testing the softness of the spot before a nap, but the real meaning is much deeper and quite touching. This movement takes your cat right back to their earliest days of kittenhood. It's exactly how kittens massage their mother to stimulate milk flow. It's an instinct rooted in a sense of total safety, warmth, and comfort. So, when your grown cat gives you this little massage, they're essentially travelling back in time. In that moment, you've become a big, reliable, and loving parent figure to them. They feel so safe and carefree in your presence that those deep kitten reflexes take over their usual adult independence. It's a beautiful, quiet way of showing just how much they trust you. Ever wondered what's really behind those terrifying gifts your cat leaves for you? You know the ones, when they proudly drop a mouse, a bird, or even their favourite toy right at your feet or on your pillow. Well, it's time to debunk a major myth. Most owners are convinced their cat is showing gratitude or trying to win them over, but that's not it at all. Think about how your cat actually sees you. To them, you're just a giant, incredibly clumsy roommate. In the wild, mother cats bring half-dead prey to their kittens to teach them how to hunt and survive. So, when your cat leaves a mouse at your feet, they aren't paying tribute. They're looking at you and thinking, this huge cat has zero survival skills. They're going to starve if I don't feed them. That's right. Your pet thinks you're a hopeless hunter. Out of a sense of family duty, they've taken it upon themselves to provide for you. It's a touching gesture, mixed with just a hint of condescension. So next time you find a present on your rug, don't get mad. Just thank them for saving your life. Let's talk about your cat's voice. Think about how often your cat looks you right in the eye and meows. Maybe it's a demanding cry over an empty bowl, or a soft chirp when you give them a scratch. We're so used to these sounds that we assume meowing is just how cats communicate. But there's a fascinating truth behind it. Did you know that in the wild, adult cats almost never meow at each other? It's true. In nature, meowing is strictly for kittens to get their mother's attention. Adult cats usually communicate through scent, body language, or the occasional hiss. Our domestic cats, however, figured something out. They realised that we, these giant hairless cats, are actually pretty bad at picking up subtle signals. We don't have a great sense of smell, and we rarely notice the position of their ears. But we do react to sound. So, cats decided to keep their baby voice for life, specifically to manage us. They've developed an entire vocal dictionary just for humans. In a way, every time your cat meows, they're speaking a foreign language designed for one purpose, to finally get through to you. There's a persistent myth that almost everyone still believes. The idea that cats are solitary loners who prefer to be left alone. In fact, many people choose cats as pets, specifically because they're seen as independent and aloof. But modern science has shown that this is actually a huge misconception. Sure, cats hunt alone, but when it's time to rest and recharge, they often form complex social groups known as colonies. In these groups, they sleep together, groom one another, and even help raise each other's young. If your cat loves sleeping by your side, curling up at your feet, or just hanging out in the same room as you, that's a clear sign of their social nature. They aren't just putting up with your presence. They voluntarily welcomed you into their personal colony. Think of lions in a pride, huddling together for warmth and safety. Your cat is doing the exact same thing. By choosing to sleep in your bed, they're showing that you're a trusted member of their pack, someone they feel safe enough to be vulnerable with during their most defenseless hours. Ever wondered about those moments when your cat starts licking your hands, hair, or even your face? That rough, sandpaper-like sensation comes from the tiny hooks on their tongue, and while it might feel a bit strange, there's a heartwarming reason behind it. It's all about that big cat instinct. In the feline world, licking one another is more than just staying clean. It's a vital social ritual called allogrooming. Cats only do this with those they trust completely. It's their way of sharing scents, strengthening bonds, and keeping the group calm. When your cat licks you, they're literally looking out for you. In their eyes, you simply aren't capable of grooming yourself properly. So, they take on the job to make sure you stay neat and smell like part of the family. It's a gesture of pure affection and care. By grooming you, your pet is confirming that you are a truly close relative in their little fluffy world. Speaking of scents, there's another quirky behaviour we have to talk about. You've definitely seen it. Your cat walks up and starts rubbing their head against your legs. Or maybe they even give you a firm little headbutt right in the face. To us, it looks like a simple plea for attention or a sweet gesture of affection. But the reality is actually much more interesting. Cats have special glands on their faces, specifically around their lips, cheeks, and the base of their ears. These glands secrete unique pheromones that signal safety and happiness. When your cat rubs their head on you, they are quite literally leaving an invisible stamp. They're marking you with their scent. In a cat's mind, this translates to, "This giant human belongs to me. They are part of my safe territory. You'll never be able to smell it yourself, but to other cats, you'll be lit up like a Christmas tree with a reserved sign." So those gentle headbutts are more than just a display of love. They're a clear claim of ownership. Your cat is marking you so they can feel completely at ease whenever you're around. Think about the physical scale of your relationship with your cat for a moment. The average human weighs around 70 kilograms, while a typical house cat is only 4 or 5. That makes you 15 times bigger and heavier than your pet. Imagine sharing an apartment with a creature so tall it literally touches the ceiling. Most animals would live in a state of constant terror around a giant like that. But not cats. Why is it that your cat isn't afraid of you at all? Why does he sprawl out right in the middle of the hallway, forcing you to step around him? It all comes down to how cats perceive the world. To a cat, social status isn't just about size. In their minds, as long as you aren't being aggressive and you're willing to share your food, your size is irrelevant. You aren't a threat. You're just an incredibly large yet peaceful roommate. This unshakable confidence allows them to completely ignore the weight difference. They sincerely believe they are your equals, and that is exactly why your cat can look you dead in the eye and demand that you give up your favourite chair. Speaking of looks, have you ever had a staring contest with your cat? You might have noticed that specific moment when they gaze at you and then slowly, softly close their eyes, as if they're drifting off for just a second. Most people don't think much of it, assuming their pet is just tired. But in the world of animal behaviour, this gesture is known as a cat kiss. In the wild, a direct, unblinking stare is a sign of aggression, a challenge to a fight. Most predators see a steady gaze as a threat. So, when your cat looks at you and slowly blinks, they're actually sending the ultimate message of peace. They're saying, "I know you're watching me, but I trust you so much that I'm willing to close my eyes in your presence. I know I'm safe with you." It is the highest form of relaxation. And the best part? You can actually talk back. If you look at your cat and give them a slow, deliberate blink, there's a great chance they'll do it right back. It's a unique opportunity to speak their language and tell them, in their own way, just how much you love them. Now, let's talk about the ultimate feline trap. Your fluffy friend walks over, flops onto their back, and exposes that soft, irresistible belly. Naturally, you can't help yourself. You reach down for a scratch and, bam! You're met with claws and teeth. Sound familiar? Most people take this as a direct invitation for affection, just like they would with a dog. No, it's time to debunk this dangerous myth once and for all. When a cat shows you their belly, they aren't actually asking to be petted. The stomach is the most vulnerable part of any predator's body. It's where all the vital organs are located. By exposing it, your cat is actually giving you a massive compliment. They're showing you absolute trust. They're saying, "I feel so safe with you that I can afford to be completely defenseless." But that doesn't mean you have permission to touch. In a cat's mind, trying to rub their belly is a violation of their personal boundaries and a betrayal of that trust. That's why they feel forced to defend themselves. So, next time your cat shows off their belly, just admire the view from a distance. Now let's talk about something a bit more down to earth, but just as important, the litter box. Have you ever wondered why your cat spends so much time, sometimes a full 10 minutes, meticulously burying their business? They don't just scratch the litter, they'll go after the walls and the floor around it too. Most people assume it's just because cats are naturally clean and hate a mess, but the real reason is buried deep in their survival instincts. In the wild, only the dominant, alpha cats leave their waste exposed to mark their territory and make a statement. Subordinate cats, on the other hand, bury theirs to stay under the radar, avoiding the attention of larger predators or the wrath of the pack leader. The fact that your cat works so hard to cover their tracks tells you one very important thing. They recognize you as the boss. In the hierarchy of your home, they see you as the top cat. They hide their scent so they don't accidentally challenge your authority. So next time you hear that frantic scratching in the middle of the night, just remember, it's actually a noisy sign of respect for your leadership. Here's a mystery that drives almost every cat owner crazy. Why does your cat insist on following you into the bathroom? The second you close the door, a tiny furry paw slides underneath, accompanied by a chorus of indignant meows. You can't even take a quiet shower without those wide eyes judging you from the top of the washing machine. Most people joke that cats are just nosy or have a bad case of FOMO, but the real reason is actually rooted in survival and deep-seated pack instincts. In the wild, an animal is at its most vulnerable when it's doing its business. It's the prime time for a predator to strike, and your cat knows this instinctively. Because your cat considers you part of their family, they aren't following you out of curiosity. They're there to stand guard. They are protecting you while you're in a vulnerable position. When you lock that door, you're cutting them off from their duty. Your cat starts to panic because their big, clumsy human is suddenly alone and exposed to danger. By letting them in, you're simply reassuring their protective instincts that you're safe. Speaking of bonding, let's talk about sleep. Why is it that, out of the entire bed, your cat chooses to settle right on your head, neck, or chest? Sure, trying to sleep with a fluffy tail across your face isn't exactly easy. Some people think it's a dominance thing, that your cat is trying to show who's boss by climbing to the highest point. But in reality, there are a few scientific reasons for this behaviour. First off, cats are heat seekers. Since their body temperature is naturally higher than ours, they're always on the lookout for external warmth. And your head, it's basically a giant radiator. Second, your scent matters. The familiar smell of your skin and hair acts like a powerful natural sedative, helping your cat feel calm and content. Finally, listening to your heartbeat and rhythmic breathing makes them feel completely safe. It reminds them of being a tiny kitten, snuggled up in a nest with their siblings. When your pet chooses your head over a soft pillow in the corner, they're making a statement. Their need for an emotional connection with you is far stronger than their desire for a comfortable place to stretch out. Picture this. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. The whole house is silent and everyone is fast asleep. Then, out of nowhere, all hell breaks loose. Your cat starts tearing through the apartment at the speed of light, leaping off the furniture, bouncing off the walls, shredding the rugs, and making the most bizarre noises. In the cat world, we call this the zoomies. Most owners assume their cat has either lost its mind or seen a ghost. But there's actually a simple biological explanation for these midnight marathons. Cats are crepuscular hunters, meaning their energy naturally peaks at dawn and dusk. Think about the life of a house cat. They spend all day napping on the sofa and getting served meals on a schedule. This leads to a massive build-up of pent-up energy. Since they don't have to stalk prey or defend their territory, that primal instinct suddenly explodes into a frantic sprint. Your cat is essentially mimicking a hunt to blow off steam. If you want to avoid these late-night performances, try a vigorous play session right before bed. Let them catch a toy mouse or a feather wand until they're actually tired. Once that inner wild hunter is satisfied, you might finally get a full night's sleep. Let's talk about one of the most soothing sounds in the world, the cat's purr. Most of us assume that if a cat is purring, it's perfectly happy and content. No, that's a common misconception. While it usually is a sign of pleasure, cats also purr when they're in intense pain, under extreme stress, or even during labour. Scientists have discovered that the frequency of a cat's purr, typically between 20 and 150 Hz, actually has therapeutic properties. It has been shown to promote tissue regeneration and even help mend broken bones. By purring in high-stress situations, a cat is quite literally healing itself. Then there's the solicitation purr. You've definitely heard this one early in the morning when your cat decides it's breakfast time. It sounds more urgent and contains hidden, high-pitched frequencies. Research shows that these specific tones are remarkably similar to the cry of a human baby. Our brains are hardwired to respond to that sound, and cats have mastered using it to manipulate us into filling their food bowls a lot faster. We've all been there. You're relaxing on the sofa, and your cat is purring contentedly on your lap. You're gently stroking their soft fur. Once, twice, 3 times. Everything seems perfect. But on the 4th stroke, they suddenly snap, sink their teeth into your hand, and bolt away with a look of pure annoyance. So what happened? This is known as petting-induced aggression. You see, a cat's hair follicles are incredibly sensitive. When you pet them for too long or keep hitting the same spot, that stimulation builds up. What started as a soothing massage suddenly feels like an irritating or even painful electric shock. Their nervous system simply gets overloaded. Since they can't tell you, "Hey, that's enough," it's starting to hurt. They use the only language they have, the language of a predator. They bite to make the sensation stop. To stay on your cat's good side, watch their body language closely. If you see their tail start to twitch, their ears flatten, or the skin on their back begin to ripple, take your hand away immediately. It'll save you from a nasty nip and keep your furry friend happy. Sometimes cat behaviour can seem pretty strange, even a little unsettling if you aren't used to it. For instance, some cats love to latch onto the edge of a soft blanket, your t-shirt, or even your earlobe, and just start nursing. They might purr loudly, knead with their paws, and, let's be honest, get a little slobbery in the process. This usually happens with cats that were separated from their mothers too early. They simply didn't get enough time to be kittens, so this becomes a lingering childhood habit. Sucking on something soft triggers a release of endorphins, those feel-good hormones that help them self-soothe and deal with stress. If your adult cat suddenly turns into a drooling baby, try not to scold them or push them away. It's just their way of finding peace. The fact that they choose to do this right next to you, or even on your clothes, is actually a huge compliment. It means you are their safe haven. In this big, confusing world, you are their anchor. Let's be honest, we've all been there. You're calling your cat's name. "Oliver, come here! Oliver!" And there he is, just 3 feet away, staring at a blank wall, acting like you don't even exist. You start to wonder if he's gone deaf, but the second you barely touch the fridge door or rustle a bag of treats in the kitchen, he suddenly appears out of thin air right at your feet. It's a frustrating paradox, and it makes many owners wonder, is my cat just not that bright? Does he even know his own name? Well, researchers in Japan actually put this to the test, and the science is clear. Cats recognise their owners' voices perfectly, and they know exactly which word is their name. The problem isn't that they don't understand, it's that they just don't care. See, dogs were bred to please. When you call a dog, they run to you because they want your approval. But cats have held onto their wild independence. When you call him, he hears you. You might even see his ears twitch in your direction. No, in his little furry head, he's doing a quick calculation. Is whatever you want more important than my nap? And most of the time, the answer is a hard no. Finally, let's talk about cat jealousy. Picture this. You come home after visiting a friend where you spent the afternoon petting their dog or cat. Your pet walks up, starts sniffing your shoes or jeans, and suddenly their face contorts. They hang their mouth open and freeze in a strange grimace, as if they're gasping for air. Then they might even hiss at you or just walk away in a huff. To us, it looks like they're offended or jealous. But in reality, that funny little face is called the flamin' response. Your cat isn't choking with rage. They're actually using a specialized sensory tool called the Jacobson's organ, located on the roof of their mouth, to analyze the new scent. In the feline world, scent is an ID card. By bringing home the smell of another animal, you've essentially brought an invisible intruder into the house. Your cat isn't jealous like a romantic partner. They're concerned that the security of their territory has been compromised. They feel the need to re-sync their scent with yours to restore the status quo. That's why, after scanning you, they'll usually start rubbing their head against your legs, effectively overwriting the stranger's scent with their own familiar pheromones. So let's wrap up our incredible investigation. It turns out we've been looking at our furry friends through a lens of human illusions this whole time. Your cat doesn't see you as the pinnacle of creation or some all-powerful master, but the truth behind it all is actually much more beautiful. To them, you're just a giant, slightly clumsy, hopeless hunter, but you're also their favourite person in the world. You're the massive cat they've chosen to share their territory, their food, and their life with. Every slow blink, every purr, every gift they bring you, and every sandpaper kiss is a sign that you are officially part of their family. Realising this makes our bond with them feel even more profound and touching. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. Now you're in on the ultimate feline secret. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you want to uncover more amazing facts from the animal kingdom. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with every cat lover you know. And now, I have a question for you. Which of your cat's habits has always seemed the strangest to you, and has your perspective changed after watching this? I can't wait to read your stories in the comments. See you next time.